Darn it, I've got a leak. Welcome back to the garage. This time it's the turn of the motorbike, and I've got a leak on the front handbrake here, just on the piston. This motorbike is a K1100LT. It's very old now. It's 25 years old, made in 1996, and which I think makes it a classic, and it's a lovely old bike. Unfortunately, I've having a few problems over the years. Actually, probably every 10 years I get a little problem with the piston inside the handbrake here, and so I've been on to BMW and I've got a repair kit. It's this one here. Extortionate amount of money from BMW. I won't say how much, but it's far too much money. So I've got a repair kit. What I'm going to do though is two things. First of all, I'm going to strip down the front lever and take the piston out, replace the piston and the spring and everything inside. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flush the brake fluid. Now, according to the manual, the brake fluid should be flushed every year. I've been a bit naughty, I think, because I know I haven't been doing it every year and it is very overdue. So I'm going to take the opportunity, not only of servicing the front hand lever, but I'm also going to do a complete brake fluid flush as well. So to prepare, the first thing I've done is I put a cloth underneath and a little container just to catch any brake fluid that might drop. You don't want brake fluid on any part of the bodywork. It eats through everything, so protect it. It's well worth doing. So the first step is to remove this cover. I've got to take out the Phillips screw just here. There we are. Loads of oil inside of there as well. Second step is we're going to release the actual lever itself. There's an Allen screw underneath the body just here, which, and out that comes as well. Now that then releases the actual bar, and you can see it's in a right messy old state here where the oil has just been leaking all the time. I'm going to give this a nice good clean up in a minute. Now if you look underneath the body just here, there's another little Allen screw, and that is a locking screw to stop the plunger coming out, so you've got to take that screw out as well. Now at this point it's probably a good idea to have definitely having the container underneath, which you may end up with some oil coming out. And here it comes. There we are. That's the little screw. That's the little screw come out. Next step is to release the reservoir. This we're going to need to drain down the reservoir anyway. Don't want to take it all off, just want to loosen it a little bit. There we go, that's loose. Right, let's see whether we can get the plunger out. There we are. And it's got the spring behind it. All good. So before I replace it, I want to give the whole area a good clean up. I'm just going to use just a cloth and wipe everything down. There we are. I'm going to give the inside a good wipe up. So the problem with brake fluid is it absorbs water, and therefore it creates like an emulsification as well. And I can look at inside here, that's exactly what I've got, is emulsified brake fluid. So I'm going to clean out as much as it as I can. Okay, there we are. New plunger, new spring. Just going to put it back into the cylinder, and then I'm going to introduce the locking screw to the back there, pushing it up, and now screwing the screw back in. Like that. Just gently tightening it up, not overdoing it. That will do. So there's the plunger back in, no problem at all. I've cleaned up the handle. I'll put a little bit of grease just on the inside of the pivot point. Going to put the little gaiter on first, like that, just to make sure it's fitting nicely. And then let's try and get the handle back on again. So there we go. Put the little post all the way through, like that. Now I just need to put the screw in underneath. Okay, that's already starting to get there, just needs tightening up now. So using my another Allen screwdriver, just making sure that's the right one. Yes, it is. Okay. And that's all going back together really nicely. Now I'm going to put the cover back on again, and it just slips over the top like that, making sure it's just located properly, which it has now. And then just going to put the screw back in here. And there we are. So that's the cover back on. So I'm now going to use some .4 brake and clutch fluid, and I'm just going to top up the reservoir. And it's beautifully clean. Not going to go too far. Beautifully clean brake fluid there. Always put the lid back on, because when you come to bleed the brakes, you can end up shooting fluid straight out the top of the reservoir. So it's always worth just loosely screwing the lid back onto the reservoir. So there we are, that's the brake piston replaced. Quite an easy job. It's always worth having a try at doing these sort of jobs yourself, because you quite often find they're not as difficult as you might think. Anyway, now that that piston has been replaced, I would need to bleed the brakes, because I would have introduced air into the system. However, the brake fluid is old and needs replacing. So in my next video, I'm going to flush the brake fluid on the front and the rear braking system, and show you also how to get the air out as well. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave some comments below. I always read the comments, good or bad, doesn't really matter. I love the conversation anyway. And think about subscribing to me, but most importantly, thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.